I recently had a tweet go viral a few weeks ago where I said you can't turn a $1,000 trading account into $100,000, and it generated a ton of hate. But the truth is, it generated a ton of hate because it's true. I would love to sell you the dream that the Rolex and the Lambo is just around the corner, that generating 20% every week or every month is easy and achievable long term. But unfortunately, the reality is, it's not. And so if you actually want to gain a realistic expectation of what is actually achievable in trading, and if you are tired of being sold the idea from gurus that you can make a ton of money overnight, that trading is easy, this video is for you. It is the video that I wish that I had when I first started trading, all the way back when I was 17. I spent over $10,000 on Forex courses. I blew countless accounts before eventually quitting my job to trade full-time for 2 years. But I think I could have gotten there a lot faster if I wasn't sold these lies that my $1,000 account was going to make me rich, that I was only a handful of trades away from getting the Rolex. And so this is the video that I wish that I had. Okay, let's first establish a quick background. Can you make 20% trading in a single week or a single month? Yes, you can. Can you make 100%, 200%? Can you flip your $1,000 account into $10,000? Yes, you can do that. It is possible, and yes, people have done it. But here's the thing. There is a difference between trading and gambling. And if you are making 20% a month, I guarantee you that you are gambling. Now, let's be clear. There is absolutely nothing wrong with gambling. The gambling industry in the US alone is over $200 billion. So if you want to drop $500 or $1,000 into a trading account, press buy or sell instead of going down to your local casino, there's nothing wrong with that. More power to you. But most of you watching identify as traders, not gamblers. So what is the difference? Traders have an edge. They have a reason where if they have a large enough sample size, over time, their edge will make them profitable. They will make money in the long term. They have a strategy and a system. They're not just going black or white, buy or sell randomly. But the key here is large enough sample size, which means that in order to make money, they can't go bust. They need to have a large sample size. They need to stay in the game. And that is where the famous risk management comes into play. And so while a gambler could risk their entire account and make 100%, 200%, 300% on their account in a single trade, a trader cannot do that. A trader can only risk a small percentage of their account on every trade because they know that eventually when the losses come, losses are a part of a game, there's nothing wrong with that. When the losses come, they know that they still have to have enough money in their account to continue trading, to continue playing the game. They simply cannot go bust. And so let's talk about what's actually achievable as traders, not gamblers. We know that gamblers can make tons of money, but eventually they'll lose it all. So how much can traders actually make? For context, the top 3 hedge funds over the last 3 years with over $1 billion in assets under management, on average, have returned over 80% over the last 3 years, 80% per year. That's 80% a year for 3 years, and that is absolutely incredible. We are talking the best returns in the entire world for hedge funds. And so yes, hedge funds aren't the same as trading. They can't necessarily risk as much. They are managing other people's money. But the key here is to understand that hedge funds have the best and brightest minds in the world, the best technology, the best algorithms, everything at their disposal to make money. They have way more advantages than the average Joe trader at home. So to back up, 80% a year, that is 1.5% a week on average that they are generating. 1.5% a week, and they have done that for 156 weeks. It is absolutely incredible. It's absolutely insane that they have managed to generate these returns over a period of 156 weeks. But again, we have to remember, these are the brightest minds out there. They have the best resources at their disposal. So keeping the big picture in mind as traders, not hedge funds, now that we have that perspective, let's see how much we can actually make as traders. Let's say that we're new to trading and we are optimistic. We haven't been muddied by previous bad experiences of blowing accounts, of knowing how difficult trading is. And that means we have $1,000 and we're gonna turn that $1,000 into $100,000. We also have some amazing stats. We're a great trader. That means that we are making 3% every single week. 3% a week, that's right. It means we are going to make double what the top hedge funds in the entire world make every single week. That's because we're new to trading and we're amazing. We're fantastic. So the question is, making 3% a week, making double what these hedge funds are making, how long will it take us to turn our $1,000 into $100,000? Well, by compounding those 3% weekly gains, it would take us literally exactly 3 years, 156 weeks. And that's making 3% every week without fail, without having a single losing week and not having a single withdrawal. Every week come Friday, we will be up 3%. But what if you're even better than that? What if your goal is to make 5% a week? When I started off trading, my goal was always 4 or 5%. And so many of you watching, I'm sure, have the same goal of making 5% a week. So if we could do that, how long would it take us to turn our $1,000 into $100,000? Well, if we could do that, it would only take us 95 weeks or just under 2 years. It would take us 1.8 years to be precise. Now, this all sounds pretty great, right? If you can make 3% a week in just 3 years, you'll have $100K to your name. Or make 5% a week, and in under 2 years, you'll have $100,000. You'll have 6 figures in your trading account. But here's the thing. Literally nothing has crushed the dreams of traders more than using a compound interest calculator. The question is, though, if the very best hedge funds in the world can't generate 3% or 5% a week, what makes you different? The question is, if the S&P 500 generates 8% a year, what makes you think that you will generate that annual return in just 2 weeks? That's the question. In order to turn your $1,000 account into $100,000, you need to make over 10,000%. On paper, yes, anything is possible. I'm not saying that the numbers don't make sense. It can be done. But in reality, if you have been trading for even a small amount of time, you know the reality of trading is that it is difficult. To generate 3% or 5% every week without fail, it's simply not going to happen if you are risk managed. When I was 17 or 18 and I had just gotten into trading, I always thought I was just on the cusp of being rich, of buying everything that I ever wanted, of achieving freedom. But the thing is, it never worked. I always ran the compound interest calculators. I bet you watching, you're a better trader than me. I am not trying to put my belief on to you, but what I am trying to do is to offer a realistic expectation, because as we will see and as we will discuss, having this belief that a small account is the key to riches, to compounding it, I think it does so much more harm than it does good. I thought my $1,000 account was the key. And so when I wasn't finding success, I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought there was something wrong with me. Even if I could manage to generate just 1% a week, which I think is achievable. I think a 1% weekly target is absolutely achievable. It's something to strive towards because you can achieve it while being risk managed. Even if you can do that, your $1,000 after just 5 years will be only $13,000. And that's 5 years of generating 1% every single week. And I'm sure if you're watching, your goal isn't to make $12,000. Your goal is to make $120,000, $1.2 million. It is to make way more than that. All of that to say, I wish that when I started, somebody had told me this, that had given me a realistic expectation. If you want to believe that you will be the outlier, that you can get to that $100,000 mark with just your $1,000 account, more power to you. But for those watching that have been discouraged by this idea that they've been sold, let's look at what is actually achievable in trading. Because when I learned this, it completely changed my trading journey. All right, so if I could go back to my 17-year-old self and talk to him in regards to trading of what's achievable and what's possible, I would tell him that there are 2 options that he could take. The first option is to forget trading. Use that $1,000 that you have and invest it in developing a skill, whether that is anything. It could be graphic design, copywriting, website building, anything that you can learn as a skill, sell it as a service and go make money, because you can have massive returns on that single $1,000 investment. But because you're watching this video, you most likely don't want to hear that. When I started trading, I also didn't want to hear that. So that brings us to option 2, get funded. When I first started trading in 2017, prop firms really weren't a thing. And so that simply wasn't an option. You were forced to take your $500,000, $1,000, your personal trading capital, and try and grow it. And if you have been trading for a long time, you have tried this and you know just how slow and just how grueling of a process it is. It is incredibly discouraging to try and grow that small capital into a large amount. Fortunately though, that is no longer the case. With that $1,000, you can purchase a $200,000 evaluation where you will get to keep anywhere from 75% to 90% of the gains that you generate on that account. That means if you can make just 1% on that account and get to the payout stage, you have already doubled your investment. But no, this isn't a get rich quick or easy process. Funding companies, yes, have made the lives and opportunities of traders immensely better. But again, that doesn't mean that things are simple. It's still incredibly difficult. You still need to develop your edge. Do not take an evaluation until you have an edge, until you're a profitable trader, until you know exactly what it is that you are doing. Secondly, if you're down to your last $500, don't take a challenge. You simply shouldn't. Invest it in a skill, get another job, whatever it is. If you're down to your last dollars, you shouldn't be investing in challenges. And thirdly, if you treat an evaluation account like a personal account, like your personal capital, you won't gamble it and will be a complete game changer. Almost 50% of all breaches at Lark Funding are from hitting the daily loss limit. That means traders are losing over 5% in a single day. That means they're not risk managed. But if you were to treat it like your personal capital, many of you watching wouldn't want to lose 5% of your own money in a single day. If you think you can turn $1,000 into $100,000, more power to you. This video wasn't for you. Go after it, prove me wrong, and prove all of the doubters wrong. But if you are disincentivized and discouraged by the idea of trading being easy, but by the lies that so many of us are sold in the trading community, this is the video for you. Take it slow. Understand that there is a better route. And yes, that is funding companies. This is not a sale. This is not us trying to convince you to join Lark Funding. I'm hoping that there's some of you out there that can save a ton of time and a ton of money by not going the same route that I did. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. And until then, peace.